Okay, good afternoon, folks. So I'm a little bit late. My daughter had her hair cut. I had to run her out. So let's have a look. Let's see what's going on here. So we've had some, some upward movement overnight. I've just literally set this chart up and I've just been looking at this. Is this coming down or is it going back up? We kind of had two legs down and a retest. So it's hard to say at the moment. So Karina, good morning to you. Just check everything's set up. Let me just reload. I think the only news we've had is gone. Yeah, that's okay. So it's hard to know. That looks right to me with a break and a new high, but this looks like it's trying to go up again. So whether we're just ranging at the moment, it's hard to tell. So if I just take that sideways a bit, it's hard to tell at the moment. You could adjust that and make that fit, which means there's a break there, and this looks like it's pushing up to make new highs. Straight lines, Tatty, how you doing, bud? So, two legs up, it's a bit hard here. Catch you out here a bit. So, yeah, I mean, you could adjust this, I suppose, to make it like that, which means there's your break, but I'm not so sure. Let me just have a look. So, yeah, Dan's got it as a break. So, that's what I'm thinking. Let's have a look at Mr. Wade. What's he looking at? Yeah, see, he's got it. As in, that's not a break. So it's a bit hard to tell at the moment. It's going a little bit sideways here, so it could catch you out. I literally got to the charts and saw that channel down and a couple of legs, but I'm not too sure. Sometimes if you're rushing around, you don't have a lot of time to think. I think you're best off just leaving things, I think. So we've had this break, two attempts to push higher. I wonder if this is coming down. Trouble is, I don't really want to be messing around in the middle. So there's a bull bar there which may get trapped. It's hard to say at the moment whether this thing could continue up. There's always a possibility. Looks like it's coming down. Like I'm going to say, there's always a possibility we could end up doing something like that and continuing up. But I looked at that. But to be fair, there's 3 bars with big wicks, so you just never know. I would have probably expected that to get stopped out, but I'm not interested in that. So we kind of got 2 lows down. There's a bit of a higher low there. 1, it's massive. 2, it's hard to know where this thing's going. 2 legs up, could be 2 legs down. It could trap that and come down, but I don't know where this thing's going at the moment, so you've got to be super careful. Morning to you, bud. There is a high low there. It's 19 ticks. You've got to be so careful in this. At the moment, it is just rattling around. It's hard to know exactly where it's going. So you really got to stay out the middle. Ooh. Yeah, a few people took this. I think that's dangerous, personally. Especially at 19 ticks. Tick above, tick below, that's massive. Someone said a second entry long. I haven't got a second entry long here. There's the second entry long. Big red bar. There's a higher low. But trouble is, we've come off the top down to here. You don't know whether this thing's going to push back down and clear this. So it's hard to say at the moment. I don't know whether this thing's going to continue on up or whether it's coming down. I know we've made a few attempts to push higher. ATR is a little bit larger than normal. That might be a little better. We've had a little breakout at the top. Maybe a breakout. Hard to say at the moment. Channel the break new high. Not the worst trade in the world. It's just I don't know whether this thing's trying to go up or just continuing sideways for a bit. It did work, that. Don't know whether you got in it. It actually gapped down a bit, I think. There's a possibility we could be doing something like this. Okay, so new high. So it's hard to know whether this thing actually had a break. Looking on this chart, there's the break. It's hard to say. We eventually found the new highs. Channel break, new high. Wonder if this thing will fail. Break out there, break out there. You just got to be so careful. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Sorry, Matt, I didn't see you there. So we kind of got 2 legs up there, but I don't like that wick. You don't know whether this thing's going to continue higher. Christ on a bike. 26 ticks instantly. I'm really surprised that worked, and I don't know why that did that. I can't see, unless the only thing I can think about is there was buyers buying above this, but that happened in a second. 26 ticks. That can do you some damage, that can. I hate the market when it works like that. So I'm guessing there's probably buyers buying that. Thinking this thing's going higher. Market's got other ideas. I was tempted in a short there. Channel break, new high, fail breakout. Would have worked very quickly, but the trouble is you never know what it's going to do. We've had 2 bounces on that midline now, so be careful going short because we may get a. I mean, some of these bars are getting rather large now. Do you really want to get into 20 odd ticks? Possible second entry long. Trouble is we've had a breakout there and a new high, so you've got to be careful going long here. Now that breakout may be in conjunction with this. Yeah, I can see orders at 25. Book map. So I think there's a good chance that the trouble is there's 20, there's 25, there's 20. It's hard to know. You've got to be so careful here. It has, yeah. That's what I mean. You've got to be so careful. You can get stung out so quick. Okay, so I expect it to hit that, which is 25, which it did. Now, there are orders at 20, so this may come down. Trouble is we've got a channel up here. Whether we've had a break in a new high or whether we haven't, and this is eventually the new high and this thing's now reversing, it's hard to say. There is a second entry long there. Very tempted to take that, but there are quite a lot of orders below it. I'm just not a fan at the moment. You could bring this down here. Yeah, you just got to be so careful. It's bouncing around a little bit too much at the moment. As we've broken a new high, there's always a possibility that now there's a channel down there, so it may trigger you and then drop. Yeah, because we made a new high, I'm just sitting tight now and I'm just going to let it sort itself out. I can see more and more orders popping down here, so there is a higher low there, but same again, just going to be careful because there may be a second entry short. Could be something like that, see. I think the second entry short will be a safer bet, but I really don't want to get in for 21 ticks. There's only a few ticks to the lows. Didn't trigger anyway. See what I mean? It's getting a bit dangerous now. 21 ticks. Is that 5 points odd? Tick above, tick below. Yeah, see, I'm having a quick look at book map. There are orders down here as 20, which tells me it may come down, but there are equal amount, in fact more, at 40, 45 and 50. So maybe this range is still in play. 40, 45 and 50 right up here. So I may adjust this now. So let's take that to there for now and bring that to that, I think. I'm going to stick that like that, I think. Excuse me. I'm not super good at trading ranges. That's where it was. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this at the moment. We've got 3 touches there, plus a couple there, so I'm all right with that, actually. I may bring that there. We've got a touch there and a couple of touches there. Yeah, so there's orders at 40, which is right here, which is I'm pretty confident it'll hit. And there are more up here as well, so I think there's a good chance maybe this is 2 legs back and this thing's going to continue on up. I wouldn't be shocked. We've had a lot of down stuff, haven't we? We had that large day there. So we are, I'm guessing, do we have another day down? I think this is probably all-time highs up here, so just going to mark this off. This was from those tariffs, so I'm guessing they're probably going to recover at some point. Extend right. All-time highs up here, so we're not actually that far off it, to be honest with you. 70 points, that's not much. We recovered a lot yesterday, to be honest. Well, that kind of hoped, didn't we, recovered, and now we're up again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 points. So leg up, 2 legs back. I wouldn't be surprised. What are we up? This could be 2 legs up. This would take us up to all-time highs if you go maybe from there to there and that. We're not far away there. What are we? 10, 20, 23, 25 points. Something like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if we did that. We've had this move up, 2 legs down, and it looks like popping up. I honestly don't think we've had a break of that channel. I think this is the break. Could ride that from there, see. And there, yeah, I actually prefer that. So I think this is just the break, really. Fair old move up. You'd expect a bigger. So, I mean, there are no guarantees. You could bring that down to there. That would take that a lot closer to that. But just for today, let's just put it at the lows. That's 1 leg up. Neo, how you doing, buddy? So as we've had these 2 bounces now, I'm just avoiding looking for shorts at the moment because my gut feeling is this is likely to push up. Now, one thing we've done here, which we haven't done, we've got 1 straight channel right to the top. We haven't here. That's broken down into 2. That's broken down into 2. That one is, and that one is. This isn't. So my gut feeling is this may trap shorts here, but I think this is going longer now. That's a strong, consistent, steady move up, which we haven't had in this. So I think this is going higher. I certainly wouldn't get in here now. I'd certainly like a correction. I wouldn't want it to go too far. I'd like a correction or something, so then we can maybe take a path somewhere along those lines. Maybe a little bit steeper initially. I like to follow that EMA. So my gut feeling is it's probably going to do something like that. I tend to avoid shorting in a range if you've had a strong... Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think you're much better... As we know, a lot of the time price will go up, it'll make a couple of attempts and it'll go up again. So I always like to trade in the direction of the initial move up. So along the bottom, really. Now, not only that, I'm not very good at ranges. I've never been very good at them. So you may argue there's a triple test there and it did come down, but it closed above that midline with the exception of that one. The only reason I think that got down is because it pushed up to a new high, cleared all this, pushed back down, took out all these little bits of liquidity right below here, and then took off. But yeah, agreed. I much prefer to trade in the way of the initial push up, because so many times, as we know, we push up, you can't sustain that level of upness. if that's a word. You can't sustain that. Not at that angle. I mean, we went up a fair amount, didn't we? So from the lows, we went up 55, 56 points straight up, more or less. You can't sustain that, so you need a correction, really, and then you got more buyers sitting around these lows. And this does look like, and you know, that was my thought process, and that's exactly what it did. Everything we went up and down in legs, didn't we? But this we didn't. We just pushed straight from the bottom straight to the top, which tells me this is the one that's going to push us out. I would prefer a correction, maybe to test this line and then add a wider channel to it. I've just put that down there just to give me some kind of a guideline on what I'm thinking. It may be slightly less steep. I tend to use that as a guideline, the EMA, so it may end up doing something like that, which would make sense. A couple of legs down, test this, and that could be something like that. It's hard to say, really, but just for now, let's kind of put it roughly where I had it. Just trying to find where it sits nice along the top. So getting in here, I think, is premature. You've got to wait for this little pullback. So if I look at bookmap, there's not a huge amount, actually. There are little areas here and here. 37, 40, slightly darker ones. So around this area. But you never know, do you? I mean, we got strong orders up here at 50. And then more up here, more up here. So this thing looks to me like it's slowly getting drawn up. I'm seeing a lot, maybe at 62 there and at 800. So I definitely think, you know, 62 is up here, 800 is up here, very close to those all-time highs. So my guess is this is the way it's going. But you've either got to get a little bit of a range and a fail breakout to pick off the bottom of this, which looks like we may get. I mean, this thing still may fail, but I don't think it will. I think it's gone too far to fail. We've pushed up. We could have failed there. Big bearish bar, channel break, new high, big bearish bar, triggered, pushed up. So my guess is it's had its day to come back into this range. This, for me, is more just a correction, and you can clearly see it's 2 legs down. And on that second leg, we went a little bit sideways, and then it just took off. So that's no good. It is a second entry long off the bottom, but this needs to come back a little bit for me to get in. Depends. I mean, this could end up being like this, and it may take off from there, but I'd like to see this. This is a little bit too steep for me. I'd like to see this kind of feather out a little bit. Okay, is this going to bring us back, or are we going to take off some more? Mind you, it's kind of going up. Same kind of angle, really, isn't it? So maybe it will. Breakout pullback along there. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I'd like this to come back to that EMA before it goes up again. That's it. That may be it. That's kind of somewhere I had it. I preferred it to come back a little bit more, but maybe it will. No, it's too tight to that line there. I don't like that. Still got to come back for me. I'm going to ditch that 1 minute and give this chance to find something. There could be a spike in a channel. Could be something like that. There you go. Perfect bull bar to trap there, unless we've got a spike in the channel, and it might not be terrible. But it's so far from that EMA, I'd like it to come back before we make another move up. Unless we do something like that. If I took that, I'd expect to get stopped out, because it's kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. I think there's been liquidity there, and liquidity there. I certainly like to see it get rid of those two. I'd like to see it come back to that EMA. It may hold. Come on, come down here. Little hammer, how you doing, buddy? Ah, I'd like to see this come out a little bit. Yeah, I think this is going to turn out a little bit something like that. There could be an overshoot there. I'm not convinced there is. It's just trying to find something that fits. The trouble is this thing is just, it's adapting and changing on the fly, as we know, and you got to kind of go with it. It's not easy, is it? I'm not a fan of these tight channels. I don't like them. I do prefer range days, although I find them tricky to trade at sometimes. I just try to sort of find, you know, higher lows, lower highs off the bottom, or two legs down with a higher low. I just don't like picking the tops and bottoms of them. Just it's not my strong point. Perhaps I should pay more attention to them, but I think there's a good chance we make this second leg. The way that's going anyway, whether it'll continue on at that level or whether we'll have, you know, a couple of legs and maybe a wider channel, it's hard to say. Yeah, long. You're right, Karina. Long. We got a touch there, touch there, touch there. Tops don't look too bad. This is quite strong, isn't it, this? I mean, just from the top there, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We're up 25 points just from this little breakout, so it's moving quite strong. So, all-time highs up here. Pretty sure they are. Yeah, they are. We had that was when we had that. Was when Trump and China with the tariffs created that. So that's the thing I like about the S&P. If I got my pension in this, that's one thing I like about this. It can drop like this, and then a couple of days later, you know, we're about what 5. We're about 15, 20 points off all-time highs. So it's great for it. It recovers this. So for investing in this, great to invest in, really, because you can find these big moves down and then kind of ride them back up within a couple of days. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. The joys of parenting. Okay, so this is what I expected. I wouldn't expect it to go up that much. So what I'd like to see is from the top there is a couple of legs up. Why is this not working properly? So maybe from here to here, and then somewhere around here, something like that. Let me just move this out of the way because it's frying my brain a minute. So let's put it there. We know where we're going, or where we think we're going. So on this chart, there is a second entry long down there. It's hard to say, really. Got to be careful here. But it depends how you've got this channel. Tough one, really. I mean, you could have it kind of like this, like that, in which case we've had a break and a new high. But this, to me, looks like it's continuing on up. I can't see any other way at the moment. So there's bound to be some profit taking, especially if there is a channel when we're right at the tops here. So we've got to wait for a proper second entry long, really. I mean, you may argue that we got something like that, which we possibly have. Little channel, break, new low. I'd rather be a bit careful here, though. This market, for me, is just bloody untrustworthy. It's got a way of stitching you up, so you've got to kind of try and outsmart it. So that's an inside bar anyway. So whether there's something like that with a break or whether there's a whole thing down, it's hard to say. There may be something like that. I don't think there is. I think it's something a bit smaller personally, but I wouldn't trust it because it's not super clear. So there may be something like that with a break and a new low, but I wouldn't take a trade in, rightly so, because this could come down and clear it out. If you're premature and you get in there, it'll sting you and stop you out. I'm not saying it will. We may still get a higher low, but it's a reasonable size channel up, so I'd like to get a couple of legs or something close. Trouble is, it depends how you got this. There may have been a break of this already in a new high, so this thing could come back a lot more. I mean, it could reverse. I don't think it will. But it's hard to say. I mean, that is quite a strong move up. What time did we hit that? 25 minutes ago. So in 25 minutes, yeah, so if you got an early there, you just got stung. In 25 minutes, we're up 42 points, more or less straight up. So channel break new high. You may go higher. I don't think it's the worst trade in the world, but I'm sitting tight because it's a bit congested. It looks better on here. I prefer a higher low or a failure. It's a little bit sideways and it may sting you. So I'm just sitting tight here a minute. I think that's probably safe. It's sat nicely on that internet, so it's probably going to work. But because we're a bit sideways here, I'm just going to wait a tiny touch, just in case. Or see if we can get maybe a higher low. We've got a little double bottom there, so you can recount that. So if we get a higher low here, maybe a breakout, pull back, come back, trap some shorts and push up. There's always a possibility, see, we do something like that. I'm not so sure. It's possible. But if we get a bear bar here and we trap a bear bar, you can count that as a fairly, but it's not much of a break with such a reasonably sized move up. So we could get something like that, and that would ruin some days there. So it'd be nice to trigger that and then push up. I just don't like this. It's a little bit sideways, so it just makes it a bit more risky. What I will say is it's in a relatively strong position. We've pushed below there and we're sat above that EMA, but I think you've just got to wait just a little bit because it is starting to go sideways. You never know if this is going to have a quick flush. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is. I just think the market has just gone away untrustworthy. So now you got that. Now that's a bit concerning. If we get a higher low there, that might be okay. But I think this is a possibility. That might be a little bit of a better option. Kind of a breakout pullback, but You have trapped some shorts there, that's for certain. That's always nicer in an uptrend. But it's just stacking up. Let me have a look on bookmap. See, if I look on bookmap, I got big orders down here at 57. Where's 57? Right below this. So you've got to pay attention to that, I think. Well, 57.50. So now there's no guarantees it will get hit, but 57.50 is there right below this. So we may have two pushes down, pick them orders up and push up. I think it's too premature getting in here. This is a better option, but not now. So chunk of orders down here. So if you did get in there, I have a bad feeling. I hope you're okay, but I think it's a tough one. You may get away with it. If you look on this side, you may call that a triple test. But with the chunk of orders down here, for me, it's an easy target, that I think. There we go. So that's shut down. Pick those orders up. There is more at 55, which is here, which is closer to that leg. But if we can get down to 55, which is there. So that's why I use bookmap, to stay out of positions like that when I can see these big orders. So if we can get a touch 55 and get a nice bullish bar, we got a leg down and a leg down. I'd be interested in going along there. Is that too early for me? I much prefer to, if we hit those orders, we'll hit that measured leg. Small risk if you want to take it, 5 ticks, but I'm just leaving it at the moment. It is a small risk. The bar's just a bit naff. So if you got in there, they just got stung. So what did it go up? So you'd have got 0.5 out of it. Maybe a 0.75 at a squeeze. Anything more and you got stuffed. Yeah, there's still orders down here. They're not as big. Some of them are getting yanked, but they are there. It is 2 legs down. It is. You can consider it a fell breakout maybe, but if we get a higher low here, I might have a go at that. Depends. If you've got this drawn differently, you might have had a break and a new high, and this could be coming down. I wouldn't have said it is. This to me has got bullish written all over it at the moment, but yeah, funny enough, the smallest bar there, the one that was sort of a more very dojish, ended up working. It was 2 legs. It didn't have to come down to here. I'd have preferred it, but I wouldn't have got a knot on that bar. Gonna get through that lot first. Signature on, going for 3 points now. Going exactly where I expected it to do. Yeah, it'd be nice to drop below there, wouldn't it? Give us a higher low. If you drop below there, give us a higher low. Once we get through that, it's probably going to be a bit easier.
Order submitted.
Looks a bit better on this side. Oh, no good.
Order cancelled.
There is a higher low there. It's not triggered. I'm not a fan of this. probably going to work. You know what? I'm going to have a go at that. I
Order
don't think it's
submitted.
that bad. Oh, the second I get in, it starts to turn on me. It's not a huge risk. I think it's going to take me out, though, I think. I don't like that. Yellow. Come on, change colour. Change colour. Come on. It's kind of funky on me. Come on. It's not closing. How do I shut this down now?
Order filled.
Close. Is it closed? What the fuck is going on here? Excuse my French. Is everything closed? I don't know that it's. Excuse me a sec.
Order filled.
Oh, come off it, please. 1110. Give me a sec. Trader 51110. Close this one down. Close
Order
position.
filled.
That's done it, isn't it? Or has it? So I'll tell you what, trading multiple accounts is flipping stressful. Oh, I'm not even super sure how to close Traderify accounts if they go wrong. TDY, Tradeovate. Let me just get Tradeovate up. I thought Tradeovate was a lot safer. I actually made a bit of profit, but I lost about $25, $30, about 30 odd dollars there. Oh, it's stressful. I can't even, it's not even, let me log in now. I can't, it's just frustrating me. I can't, for some reason, I don't know how to copy and paste. Copy and paste doesn't work. Copy. Control V. That worked. Copy. V. Okay. Exit all positions. Yeah, I am out anyway. That's stressful. So I've got it down here. That's it, isn't it? Exit all positions. Frustrating, frustrating. You had the same issue, did you? You don't get it much with Trade of 8 apparently, but I'm just gonna have to keep that in my eye line. That's why I'm not a friend to copy too many accounts. Yeah, I'm only copying 10. Some people copy 20. I know Wilson copies 35, I think. So 2 legs down. Possible second entry long, yeah, we'll see. What is going on here? We got 2 nice legs down, big move up there, and all of a sudden this thing just drops. I hate it when it's moving like this. That's interesting. It's a second entry long. I don't think it's a bad trade. At the moment, though, I'm not sure what's going on. Two legs down. It may just be coming down to clear some of this, but I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I was very tempted. It is a second entry long. We've got 2 legs down. Sometimes it may come down a test before it pushes up, but the way this is moving, it's a bit unpredictable. I didn't like that big drop, and all of a sudden now we got a doji. Man, this is stressful today. Let's have a look what Mac's got. Okay, so Mac has got, same as we've got, 2 legs down, so maybe that'll work. See if we get a higher low. I was tempted to get in there. It is a second entry long. You have triggered a big bear bar there, so I think there's a good chance it at least hits that. Because at the moment, I think the move is still up. See if we get a higher low. Trouble is, I've done this before in the past, convinced after 2 legs this thing's going up, and I'm looking for any opportunity to get in, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. We've had 2 legs down. We got a channel break new high. First attempt to get high, we've had another attempt. This thing could drop. So I'm just not trusting at the moment. There is a possible higher low here, but I'm starting to not trust this market. See, we've got 2 legs down. We've made multiple attempts to push higher. This thing could drop. It really could. Or there's always a possibility we have something a little bit larger and it pushes up. I'm glad I stayed out of that now. It's just a bit too sideways, so you've got to be a bit careful. So I'm stressed, I am. So I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute breather. Stressing me out all that. Just flipping getting out of trade. I'm only trading 10 accounts, so it's not a huge amount. But I suppose it's much cheaper to do that than to trade your own money, isn't it? I won't be surprised if this thing takes a huge drop. So I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, stretch my legs, calm my nerves, make myself a nice cup of tea. This is the bottom. This is 2 legs down. So it's probably going to continue up, but I'm going to do the sensible thing and take a breather. Okay, so I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. I'll be back. Okay. Okay. So okay, so it did look like it was pushing up, but then we had whether this is two legs and this is going to go up or what. It's hard to say at the moment. So, quick question for whoever, Karina possibly. I've got two take profit trader accounts which are passed. I just need to do one micro on them. And they'll be passed. Now they're through Tradeovate. So how do I trade two companies from Tradeovate? So if I've got Tradeovate at the moment and I select this, you can see here you can see my 5 accounts. So how is there any way that I can have my thank you? Is there any way that I can have my two take profit trader accounts here as well? So if I need to exit all of them, I can do that. Or have I got to have two versions of this open? Does anybody know? I've not traded two lots of Tradeovate at the same time, I don't think. So this is what I said. The possibility as well, two bigger legs. I'm still not ready to go long yet, just in case I've got it wrong. In fact, let's use that one. But can I not? So yeah, I'm not too sure. So what I like, that's interesting. There is a higher low there, but I'm still not ready to go long just yet in case I've misjudged it. So two legs down, that would make sense. There is a higher low. I like the fact that we're going a little bit sideways, but I think it's still a bit too early just to assume that that's the case, because we could always do this and you're going along and this thing's deciding to drop down. So I'm on the fence at the moment. I'm not sure which I prefer. I won't be surprised if some traders have taken that one, but clearly I think it was a mistake. I'll be surprised if it doesn't get stopped, but there is two legs down. You can get why. Uh, So I do like the way we're holding here. We're clearly finding some support there. Whether that's enough to take us higher, I'm not so sure. So I'm just sitting tight here. It is kind of falling in the right place, isn't it? I don't like this though. So it may still go up. It's hard to say. I wouldn't trust that one. I would prefer to have that more like this, more that type of angle. But I will do that. Spin it. I don't think it is. There's definitely a battle going on. I will say that. Could be a bull flag as well. It may end up going out. I mean, I don't tend to follow patterns like that, but got kind of multiple different thoughts here. It could be a downtrend. It's not very strong as a downtrend, so maybe it's just doing this and then up some more. Yeah, we could do something like that, couldn't we? I'm not too sure at the moment. Touch, you may argue we got 3 touches there, but it depends how you've drawn this. There could already be a break and a new height, so hard to say, but there's not. You just got to let this go, I think, and just otherwise you're going to get into trouble. Can see sell orders around about there, which would break above all this lower liquidity and confirm this downtrend. This thing, it's hard to say. There is going to be liquidity here, but this looks like it's starting to lose momentum to me. So we've had this break, channel break, new high, and we've made 2 more attempts. So this just may be coming down slowly. It's so hard to tell at the moment. I would say this was the kind of final nail in the coffin, maybe. So we got a channel with a break, new low. Definitely looks like a dinosaur of some kind. Maybe a diplodocus. I'm not proper up on my dinosaurs, but definitely looks like a herbivore. You know, trading's boring when you start drawing stuff. Come on, make your sudden mind up. Now, there's going to be possibly some liquidity there if it gets down much further. I was convinced this was definitely coming down, I'd be looking for shorts, but I'm unsure at the moment. It kind of looks like a bull flag. It could flipping take off, couldn't it? And I guarantee the second I go short, that's what it'll take off. Oh, I'm bored out my arse. So let's have a look at bookmap. We've got to do something. So it's just not a huge amount of orders. There's orders down here at 50. There's orders up here at 65. So I don't know where this thing's going. Could go down, could go up. Not a huge amount of orders there around, really. Trouble is, it's still just a little bit too early. I mean, the trouble is, how long do you wait before you start thinking? How long do you wait before you go, okay, now let's look for shorts? We got a really strong move up there and slowly work it down. You never know when we're going to push back up again, or, you know what I mean? I did kind of put that line there to identify this. There's after that initial push up and bit of sideways, there's bound to be liquidity here. So maybe it comes down, gets this and pushes up, but maybe that's wishful thinking. It could come down and test here. I don't know. In fairness, I got no idea. All I know is my hair's going greyer by the minute. I suppose the only thing we can say, it's had ample opportunities to push up, isn't it? So maybe that's the option. Depends how you've got this. see if we can adjust this. This thing looks like it's coming down to me. Let's get rid of this. Let's clean this up a bit now. 2 legs down, 2 legs up, 1, another retest, and then down. I actually like that for me. It's not coming down strong enough for me. And with that channel there, it's hanging around in the bottom. So I think that's probably better. We've got a touch, a touch, a touch, a touch, and it's fitting really nice at the bottom. So for me, this is kind of more like it. Ah, okay. I've just posted that. Dan's put that, so he's looking at this. So yeah, I think it's more down now. We made multiple attempts to push higher, and then it's just given up the goat, and then it's coming down. So I'm looking for shorts, I think. There's been nothing here that I would have taken anyway. That was the only possibility. The trouble is we've had 2 legs down. You don't know whether it's going to bounce here a couple of times and eventually push up. When you have something up that goes up that steep, your natural thought process is it's going to push up, especially after 2 legs down. Yeah, we don't get to the top, and then we come down. But when we have that failure and it starts to move down, that's kind of it, I think. There is a second entry long off there. Now, if you'd have been scalping for a point or something, you know, it would have worked. So Max still may mark that as a second entry long. It certainly weren't enough for him. Do you know, I was thinking about this a couple of nights ago, this scalping for a point. Now, I go for 3 points. And in all honesty, a lot of the times I'm getting out the trade early. So, you know, maybe Mac's right with this point. If you can get a high enough win percentage, then going for a point, you would make money. So what I will say is 2 legs down. If you took that trade, obviously it worked. The failure worked. The second entry long worked. A lot of trades, I could probably take more trades going for a point. So, you know, the question is, the good thing about going for a point, your win percentage is going to be much higher, but I think you have to be a good trader and a good market reader to make going for 1 point work. Now, even trades that I've gone for in the past that lost would have made a point. Now, I went through the numbers a while ago. I worked out how much money I would have made if I'd have gone for 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. And 3 points was a resounding, you know, I'd have made more money. But what I didn't take into consideration, the losses I took on the 3 points, I didn't take into consideration that they'd have worked on the 1 point. So, you know, Mac will mark a lot of trades. If he's showing an average of a couple of trades a day, going for a point, I'd be making, say, $100 a day. I don't seem to make that now on average. So, you know, so for instance, if I was looking at this trade here, little second entry long there, now you don't know it's going to go up. It is 2 legs down. Now, if you took a point there, if you scalped a point there, you'd have been out there plenty of time for the tops. But I may avoid that because I'm thinking it's only going up 1.5 points. I'm looking for 3. So it's hard to make the correct decision, really, whether to go for 3 points, whether to go for 2 points, 1.5 points. I will say that you have to be a solid trader to make money going for a point. So I think a point, personally, is too low. Now, I know Marco and I know Dan go for 1.5 points. So, you know, maybe that is a better option. It's hard to say. I'm going to have to look into the numbers a little bit more. It's okay to say if you see a nice trade, yeah, it went for plenty of points, but you've got to take really good, solid positions to go for those, and you've got to be prepared to, prepared to leave them. Because I'm getting close to payments, my nerves are not allowing me to stay into trades long enough to make the correct amount of profits that I should be taking. So I'm going to have to, I might get something like ChatGPT to help me. They're useful things like that might help me kind of work out the best way to trade this. The best trouble is it's okay saying for going 3 points, but as soon as you're in a trade, 3 points is a lot more to go. And if you're losing your nerve and coming out of them, you might as well take less. Some trades that I got out, there was a trade last week in particular that I got into, and it went straight up to 2 points, 2.25, came back. I got out of it, I think break even plus one, it would have stopped me out. But 2 points, it would have worked. So it's okay saying, well, I didn't make profit that time, but you've got to take into consideration your losses, the difference in your account balance to if you'd have taken, and this thing's coming down, there is liquidity there. You expected that, so I expected a quick push. So I can't. Last time, I think if a trade worked, I made profit. If it didn't work, so I'm going to have to run the numbers again, I think, and be a little bit broader minded. So, because I'm just finding as I'm getting into these trades, I'm getting out of them just as quick as I get in because I'm kind of getting nervous. Now that's probably a lot to do with. A lot to do with getting close to payment level. In a week or two, I could potentially withdraw about $18,000. Two of my TraderFi accounts are $300 and $250 away from a payment. The others are around about $550 away from a payment. Lock your take profit and stop. That's an option, yeah, that's an option. I think what you've got to do is decide what you want to go for and lock them in, yeah. That would kind of take away now. Sometimes price does go sideways, but that doesn't mean it was necessarily a bad trade. The trouble is, I've never really, not consistently, used a trade journal to track my trades. What I've found is when I've used them in the past and I've blown accounts, you got to kind of re-delete the accounts and start again. So now I'm tending to play things a little bit safer. I think now's the time to think about tracking my trades properly. I have been looking at ways to do that, the various ways. Now, I have got free access to TraderSync. But I find this absolutely mind-boggling to work. It's so confusing. This is it at the moment. That is an old balance I had. I haven't used it for ages. I just find this so confusing. It's hard enough just trying to get it to... It used to be easy. I used to right-click. If I used to go into executions on my NinjaTrader, right-click, save the file, and just add the file. It's all AI now, and there's that much information in here. I just find it absolutely mind-boggling. How I trade, I don't need it so much. I don't go for long moves, and I don't need to track as much information. So I have been looking at, there's a few free ones around, and I could kind of, I have got Excel. I've got the Microsoft package, which I pay £8.50 a month for. So I could, use an Excel sheet and do things that way, which it's kind of a bit of fun setting your own up. You can kind of, but yeah, so, there's the options of locking. I have my stop locked anyway that I can't move my stop away. I can only move it into profit. But, I think because I haven't had a payment for about nearly 4 months now, I really wanted this to work and take my time and do it the right way, and I have. It's taken a bit longer, but as I'm getting close to payment, as soon as I'm getting in a trade, it's pulling back on me a little bit. I'm getting out of it too early, so I'm kind of missing out on profit. So, you know, between maybe 1.5 points, 2 points, and 3 points, there probably isn't a huge amount of difference profit-wise. Yes, the more points you go for, the more trades you're going to lose. But when you win trades, you're going to make more profit. So it swings and roundabouts, as we say over here. It's kind of, you know, there's good parts and there's bad parts. So, you know, if one of you, for instance, goes for, if one of you goes for 1.5 points, let's say 2 points, and I go for 3, you're going to win more trades than me. Might not be a huge amount of difference, but excuse me a sec. But you know, it's ups and downs, isn't it? What I will say, the less points you go for, the less trades you're going to lose. And if you don't handle trades very well, that might be a better option. So, you know, I don't know whether to maybe go for 2 points. I think 2 points is a good amount. A lot of the times my trades would have made 2 points, but not 3. So that may be a better option. So, excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Daughter after money. £20 here, £20 there. So yeah, it's a tough one. Let me have a look. Kirkadian, but sorry. Told me nothing beats Ninja Trader 8 for this kind of analysis. If it comes through with a platform, I haven't. If it comes through the platform, I haven't dug into it yet. Yeah. I mean, I would love. The trouble is, when you're learning to trade and you're blowing accounts and you're you know, you're going on tilt and you're taking ridiculous amounts of trades, it's almost damn impossible to track your kind of win rate, because it's not really true, because you've kind of, it's been kind of a learning process. So I think when you get to the stage where you start to do things a little bit better, a little bit calmer, I think that's the time to maybe start to monitor trades. I'd love to, because, you know, if I had a set amount that I went for, you could work out whether you'd be more profitable, you know, trading for 3 points or trading for 2 points, or maybe not trading on a Wednesday, or, you know, lots of these bits of software now can track when your losing trades are, if there's a particular pattern with them, you know, maybe on a Monday after the weekend, or maybe on a Friday after the week. And if it turns out that most of your losses are on a particular day, you know, you can kind of start to look at adjusting things, maybe taking a day off or half a day off or something like that. But I do find some of these bits of software just so complicated to use, and there's not a lot of information on TraderSync on YouTube. TraderSync adjusted things, they went more AI and it's more automated, but there's nothing really shows you how to use it. And it's no point in having a most, you know, powerful piece of software if you don't even know how to get your accounts in. So I might just email them and just say I'm finding it a bit tricky. Is there any, have you got any kind of resources that I can, you know, kind of find out how to use it? Because I'm an affiliate for them, although I don't think they don't have much business from me really. I think I've got the elite package, which is normally about $80 a month. So it's You know, it's a powerful bit of kit. But if I was going for swing trading or going for much bigger moves, I would probably get more out of the information there. But as I'm going for generally a smaller fixed amount, you know, perhaps I don't need the resources that it gives me. So, but there are a few free ones online that you can, use with it. I mean, Excel's a fantastic bit of kit. I kind of, keep all my expenses and everything in there. So I keep track of what I earn, what I make, and all that sort of stuff. So I think I'm going to spend some time over the weekend. And I was looking the other night, and there are a bunch of free courses on YouTube on how to use Excel properly. I know the basics, but I don't know all the ways of adding column A to column C and so on and so forth. And there's all the formula which I don't fully understand. So I like to get my teeth into something new. So I may have a look over that on some evenings and see if I can't just knock together something simple for myself, but that keeps track of things. I mean, you don't really need a huge amount of information to keep track of things. Obviously, wins, losses, profits, profitable days, and so on and so forth. But so I feel a bit out of sorts today. I am up a little bit over my accounts. My Apexer accounts are, one of them's 150 and the others are 125, 137. And my Traderify account's $50. This one was the one that didn't close for some reason. So I'm up a little bit anyway. To Google Sheets. Yeah, I know what's it does one, doesn't he? It's so much information there. It's a little bit of a learning curve. Sniper Beast. He's a nice guy, this guy, but he's got one. There's a Google version and an Excel version, and there's quite a lot of information in there. And I think I've still got one from Wilson on my old PC. I think I might dig that out. But there's about 5 or 6 pages here for different things. The trouble is, it's okay having these things, but if you don't really know how to use them, sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain. But he's a nice guy. So, but yeah, as I say, I pay for the whole Office package, which only cost me $8.50 a month, and I need it for obviously keeping track of expenses and so on and so forth. So I've got the package, but Excel, it's a really powerful bit of kit, isn't it? You can do a lot with it. So I think I might design my own something simple. But I think up until recently, I don't think it would have benefited me really, because when you're revenge trading, you're going through all that, say blowing account after account and all this sort of stuff. It's hard to keep track of things, because if you're going on tilt and taking 10 trades in 5 minutes, you're not really going to get a true representation of how you're trading. Really, you need to kind of get to a level where you're thinking, okay, it's time now to stop messing around and start to taking things seriously on a day-to-day basis. So if this is a channel, there is a big bearish bar here, but it's only a first entry. On here, it looks like 2 little legs up, but I'm not going to take this at the moment, although it is kind of confirming that. But it's only really just not sure what's going on at the moment. So I'm just going to sit tight. So, but I think I'm going to finish early today. I feel a bit out of sorts. So I'm up a little bit. I'm up about $600, $700 on all over my accounts anyway. So, it's been a small profitable day, but I don't like the way the market is. It's finicky today. It's a little bit frustrating. I feel a bit out of sorts. So, bull bar above the major reversal. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the moment. So I feel a bit out of sorts. So I'm going to finish today, I think, and go and do a few things, but I just feel like in fact, I think me and my wife are going to have a couple of nights away by ourselves. My daughter's 17 now, so we've never been away in 17 years by ourselves. So I think we might have a weekend away, long weekend away. I feel like I need a break. So I'm going to leave you guys to it anyway. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday. If you're carrying on, best of luck. Bit of a odd day today. It's not kind of working as I kind of expected. So, but there you go. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. So I appreciate your company. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.